had an interesting experience. Do you guys ever forget what day it is? I know it happens to Kevin all the time, but do you ever just get caught up that you just literally, like, if somebody came up to you and was like, hey, what day is it? You would just have that blank deer in the headlights expression? Because that literally just happened to me before the show. I feel bad because every Tuesday we have Rich Dials on 3 and Out. Back Nine Boys. You can hear him every Saturday and Sunday morning here. Best golf show there is. I'll say it. You can fight me. No one does it better than Rich. Honest to God, forgot it was Tuesday.
Man.
But I will say this, Rich, I want to just put it out there. Rich sent me a very snarky text message.
Ooh.
He hit me with the okay question mark.
He said, so what does
What
that
happens
mean?
on Tuesdays?
Yeah.
That just means like he's like, I guess because we're not doing this, because he just hit me with that okay question mark. And I was like, that's my bad.
Yeah.
It's my bad. But
How
then I
dare
just
you.
had to give it back a little bit because he typically comes on at 4:20 on Tuesday. So I hit him with you mind coming on 4:35?
You're begging at that point.
You
Desperate.
know, Rich is out there playing 36 holes of golf a day.
He didn't just walk away from the okay question mark text. He came back and said, please.
No, come on. I apologize. I said, it's my bad. I forgot it was Tuesday. Listen, it happens. We got a lot going on. It's finally college football season. There's a game tomorrow night. I know that now because I know it's Tuesday.
Here's what's
Cam,
more
you know who's playing
important.
tomorrow night?
No.
We literally talked about it. This is amazing. Cam said he just didn't listen to the show yesterday. Ran the board, but I guess between like Kevin bringing it back and saying, we'll be right back, he just tunes everything out because we literally talked about this like 4 or 5 times yesterday. UAB, Jacksonville State tomorrow night.
Hey, man, I understand.
Hey,
understand
we,
what?
we all have bad moments.
I understand.
You understand
that,
what,
yeah.
PJ? You understand what? Say it out loud.
I understand him tuning that out.
Okay, you want to talk about writing for small football? You know exactly what I'm going to talk about here because every time I make fun of this small football thing, you get real offended.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to out myself on here like you're outing yourself for not supporting UAB and not supporting Jacksonville State.
Right.
Honest to God, I just forgot.
It's football, man. It's college football tomorrow.
I'm not gonna lie. This is like the first time in a long time. I don't know. Take this for what you will. I feel like I'm so focused and like just kind of in tune and trying to focus on high school football right now that not even joking. My brother was like, "Hey man, so where are we gonna watch where are we gonna watch a game this weekend?" And I was like, "There's a what?
You got a top 20 matchup this weekend,
God.
PJ. Penn State plays Wisconsin.
Yeah, hopefully
at
they're
Wisconsin, right?
At Wisconsin.
Yep,
Camp
at
Randall.
Wisconsin.
Big noon kickoff. Hopefully they're more focused than I am on the game itself.
Lord, I hope so.
You know what I mean? So it's crazy, man. Yeah, everything's crazy right now. But yeah, absolutely. College football, can't wait for it this weekend.
Oh, okay, so you're not going to watch Ohio State, Minnesota on Thursday?
Probably not. Ohio State's going to win. Come on.
You're not rowing the boat with PJ Fleck?
You will for the first like quarter and a half, and then Ohio State takes over. It's what always happens.
It's a freshman quarterback on the road in his first ever start.
Handing the ball off to some 6-star running back.
I think it's a freshman running back.
So Stroud he's a freshman?
Yeah.
He's gonna be impressive, man. He's gonna be impressive.
He's an Ohio State quarterback.
I hope not.
Why are Ohio State quarterbacks so good, PJ? Why are their stats so good?
Why are they? Oh yeah, because they always throw the bubble screens and
yeah. PJ says it's just
especially
bubble screens and slant routes.
I respect the heck out of no. I respect the heck out of Justin Fields. But
yeah, he was throwing the ball deep.
You go back and watch Dwayne Haskins tape.
He was
bubble screens.
He
all
was.
day.
Like
was
the
bad.
average yards per completion. Not like the run after catch, but like the yards to the receiver was like 1.
Yeah.
If you actually go back, I know we're getgetting back on that, but if you go back and watch
Braxton Miller on the bubble screens, baby.
Ohio State, Penn State
Virginia
game,
Tech, the spin move,
where we're winning, like Penn State's winning 26-14, and then they're like, oh yeah, we haven't been running bubble screens. They go to bubble screens and they win the game. Like it's ridiculous.
It's like when somebody just starts spamming the same play in Madden over and over again.
Yeah,
you just can't stop it.
They got those athletes in Ohio State, man.
Yeah, it's that goal line HB toss, man. That's basically what it was.
Well, we do have some college football news to get into today. Number one, I want to start with this because I think it's really cool. Samford is going to honor Bobby Bowden by having a decal on their helmet with his likeness on it, just white and that Samford blue. He went to school there and then started his coaching career there as a graduate assistant. So really cool stuff there from Sanford and honoring Bobby Bowden. I know it won't be the last. If I had to imagine, West Virginia will definitely honor him in some way. I know Florida State has to be honoring him in some way. So I think this is going to be a season-long tribute to Bobby Bowden. So I think really cool move there from Sanford. Did you see what Hawaii did for Colt Brennan?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
That was incredible.
Really cool. They Hawaii has new helmets, and on one side they have just the Hawaii H. On the other side of it, they have the Hawaiian Islands. But now for the season, they have the number 15 on every helmet, just under the islands, to honor Colt Brennan. So I thought that was really cool there as well. As again, two legends of college football that we lost this past offseason. Some really cool news here. The starting quarterback for South Carolina, not 2 weeks ago, was a member of the graduate assistant coaching staff.
Right.
Zeb Noland. And that's
a cool story, man.
I've always said Baker Mayfield might be the most college football player of all time.
Yeah.
Just because of his story, right? Going out there and starting at Texas Tech as a walk-on, and then earning a scholarship at Texas Tech, but then transferring. Did he get beat out by Mahomes?
At Tech, believe so.
Either way, transfers
so.
to Oklahoma. Texas Tech blocks his eligibility just because the whole, like, if you were on scholarship and you transfer inside the conference, we can block your eligibility for a year, kind of a deal. And then he gets released from that, gets to play, wins the Heisman Trophy, goes to multiple college football playoffs. So just
didn't he walk on at Oklahoma too?
Yeah,
but I think the walk on at Oklahoma was to try to like circumnavigate transferring inside conference.
So, kind of like
a
preferred walk on, but navigating your way. Okay,
right. So it's just the Baker Mayfield story is fascinating. The Zeb Noland thing is really fascinating.
Yeah,
started at Iowa State, played in some really big football games. And actually, Shane Beamer said this. He played against Oklahoma while Shane Beamer was the special teams coordinator at Oklahoma while he's at Iowa State. Last year, he was Trey Lance's backup at North Dakota State, which means he played a lot because Trey Lance only played in one game for North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Or did North Dakota State just play one game?
I think they just played one game.
But maybe they just played one game.
Yeah.
Either way, backed up a first-round pick, guy who's rotating in as a starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers right now, and then meets up with Shane Beamer, joins his staff as a graduate assistant at South Carolina. Some injuries start happening at the quarterback position, and I wonder how much of this now was it injuries, or were they just looking around being like, holy crap, our best quarterback's wearing a polo right now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you go back and watch the tape, the dude has a cannon for an arm. Like, this isn't just like they're throwing some guy out there to throw 5-yard out routes. Dude has a cannon attached to his right arm.
He has experience.
So I really wonder if Shane Beamer was like out at practice and Zeb Noland was just kind of messing around, throwing the ball with some receivers. And he was like,
I'm kind of wondering.
That looks better than anybody else we got.
If it was one of those situations where like he knew he had eligibility left, but no one else did. Like they just.
Well, I'm sure South Carolina did.
They were just like, man, you throw a really pretty ball. I wish you had one more year left. And he's like, well, I do. But
well, here's the thing.
Wait, what are you doing?
This has like Disney movie.
It does, yeah.
Like a little bit of an undercurrent to it right here. I will say this though, he has to win a game. Like,
right,
exactly. It can't be the Disney movie if you just go out there and get smashed repeatedly. And I think South Carolina on pace to win maybe a couple games this year. But Zeb Noland, baby, amped up.
Go out there.
That's Kevin Crabhand Thomas comes in here to get his rundown.
I mean, just so like middle of the segment, doesn't even wait. You know what I mean? But no, if this
what are you trying to mouth to me during the segment, Kevin, while we're doing a live radio show?
You can't just sneak that in.
No, Kevin may be the worst mouther of words of all time.
I thought that was just me.
No, he's tried to do it multiple times. He's just not good at it.
Okay, I got you. Because I always I'm always like, yeah, I guess I just can't. I can't really read lips. I don't know, but I guess most of the time
I'm pretty good at reading lips. When somebody's like, "OMG, get me out of here" or something like that, yeah. I can read that. Kevin, I think it's because he tries to make them way too complicated.
It's like you try to make it clear, but it's like it's not working.
And he doesn't use hand signals at all. Like if he's saying you have a phone call, you have to put up the thumb and the pinky finger to the mouth. No hand signals from Kevin. Just all lip. Oh, I heard that. I just heard
Yeah.
incompetent.
Yeah, I heard
That's
that.
it.
I appreciate that.
That's what you want to hear on a Monday afternoon.
That's
Wait,
right. Some other college football news. We mentioned this yesterday. Oklahoma at Tulane is now being played at Oklahoma, but Tulane is still technically the home team in that one. I guess all that means is jerseys, and
Right.
Oklahoma gets to call the coin toss. I guess. I think that's about it.
I don't know. I'd like for them to try and like keep the Oklahoma fans out. Just,
Not gonna happen.
no. Just only let
we're gonna
Tulane.
well, I will say
Tulane fans in.
I agree with Cam. Like maybe if they weren't gonna do this again in the future, I could see something like, listen, we're going to just go with the allocated tickets already. But I think we're going to see a sold out game that's basically going to be an Oklahoma home game because they have agreed to play a game at Tulane in the future.
Right.
So there's that. But now Oklahoma opening at home, I believe for the 4th consecutive year. Other news, college football related, Mac Jones, due to the fact that the Patriots have now released Cam Newton, Mac Jones will be the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots week 1 when they take on who? The Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
See, I got a good question for y'all.
Perfect.
Out of the
so
three,
Mac Jones and Tua.
You know, Matt Jones, Tua, and Jalen Hurts, they were all at Alabama at some point in time.
At the same time.
Yeah, at the same time, yeah. Out of those 3, who do y'all think will have the best career?
Yeah, that's
just like I would say I'm leaning towards Matt because he has Belichick.
Well, I was gonna say if I had to like go 1, 2, 3, I'd say Mac Jones for that simple reason. He's playing for Bill Belichick. Number 2, though, I'd say Tua because of I think Brian Flores is a really good coach.
I agree.
And Tua is one of the best college quarterbacks I've ever seen, just talent wise. But I think Jalen Hurts is going to have a good career too. I think all 3 of those guys will have really good careers. I think the only thing knocking Jalen Hurts right now is I don't trust his head coach
There you go.
whatsoever.
And that's the bummer, is because that's exactly where my mind.
I wonder if we still have that audio from that press conference.
Just like
God.
His Jalen Hurts' technical ability, the way he's able to move his body, but also just be efficient with the football, man.
He might have the biggest arm out of all 3 of those.
Yeah.
And the thing
he's the quarterback. Honestly, he's the quarterback right now I trust the most with an offense out of those 3.
I don't know, man. Watching Mac Jones.
Yeah, I might go Mac Jones. Yeah.
Really solid. Yeah,
he was
solid.
Filthy.
But
yeah. He did 8 possessions, and all 8 possessions he scored either a field goal or a touchdown.
And it was the other stuff too. It was like the small stuff you don't really notice, like where he's actually throwing guys open on routes where he's not just trying to hit them in stride. He's putting a back shoulder to a tight end on a seam route and throwing that who wasn't open before. Mac Jones. I've been riding for Mac Jones since he came in when Tua hurt his hip. Yeah. And I caught a lot of flack for it because they're like, listen, man, like it's Tua's the guy. They had Jalen Hurts, but who's it? This Mac Jones kid, you see the pictures of him with his shirt off,
of course, yeah.
Kind of looks like me with my shirt off, it's like I enjoy eating Chick-fil-A at 10 o'clock at night.
Come on, man.
Right?
No.
Like,
you pre-CrossFit, maybe.
Yeah, I still enjoy eating Chick-fil-A at 10 o'clock at night. Though.
Like,
look, Mac Jones has never said no to a burger. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I don't hate him for that.
No.
If anything, he looks kind of like a early 1900s boxer where they actually still had body fat back then.
Right.
But no, I mean, since he took over for Tua, I mean, they lost that Iron Bowl, but he also had 2 passes go off of his receivers' heads that turned into pick sixes, right?
Balling. Yeah.
And then they played Michigan. I think was it the Outback Bowl or the Gator Bowl? It was one of those or the Capital One Bowl. It was one of those New Year's Day bowls in Florida.
And that wasn't Michigan.
But it was crisp. And Brian Baldinger actually said this about Mac Jones when he went back. The game that Tua got hurt against Mississippi State, Mac Jones comes in. And they go from running RPO stuff to running drop back stuff, which if anything, you go the other way, right? Where you have a quarterback come in during a hostile situation and you need to just get some completions going. You probably try to go a lot of hard play action, a lot of RPO stuff where it's just 1-2 reads for him, get the ball out quick. They had Mac Jones doing full progression drop backs. And so that to everyone that said, we trust him. Yeah. And then all the NFL GMs that did the I guess it wasn't really the combine, but they did the interviews, the combine interviews, said he was far and away the most impressive over Trevor Lawrence, over Zach Wilson, over Trey Lance, over all of them, just in the actual conversations, whiteboarding it up. And I know people like to say, well, Mac Jones, he's throwing a wide open Devonta Smith and Jalen Waddle all the time. Go back and watch the Georgia game.
Yeah, he was putting
like literally nowhere to put the football, and he was dropping it on the back of the end zone to Devonta Smith.
He was.
So like I'm not surprised. I pretty much assumed once they drafted him, he was going to be the guy
at some point. Yeah.
At some point this year.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. I think
Mm.
when you're choosing between, but obviously you're choosing. I was talking to someone about this earlier. You're choosing between the three of them. It's like 1A, 1B, and 1C, and I don't even really like splitting them up like that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like you're talking,
I don't even know if it's not that for me though. Like,
I got
here's
Mac
what it
Jones
is.
one.
I think as
He's clear
I think as
cut
an
one.
NFL quarterback, I think Mac Jones, like I'll say it this way, confidence level wise is Mac Jones. I think ceiling wise is probably Tua. But I said this to Cam yesterday. I think Jalen Hurts has a really good chance to be Dak Prescott-esque.
Yeah. They
He
just
plays
have
in
to
plays in the same
believe in
division,
him,
yeah.
though. I don't even know if Philly believes in him. They have to believe in him because they're
Well, I don't
talking
think
about
Dallas
trade.
really believed in Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
But
He came in for Romo and
right,
he lit
and
it up.
again, another one of those things. You want to get me on a tangent? We can talk about Tony Romo all day. That dude is an awesome NFL quarterback.
Yeah,
But I don't think it's 1A, 1B, 1C for me. I think
that's fine.
pretty clear cut right now, just off the football I've seen him play. I'd have Mac Jones above them. Now, Tua hasn't been healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said last year, he honestly, like last year, he wasn't in full command of the playbook. Which any rookie quarterback that comes in and tells you, yeah, I have complete understanding of the playbook and of NFL defenses, the hell out of here.
Remember, Mahomes said he didn't know his playbook after winning the Super Bowl like that. So, yeah.
Still out there kind of halfway
He even
winning
said
it.
that.
So, yeah.
Well, it's like Andy Reid. Like that stuff is just like an encyclopedia for him. It's easy for him. It's not easy for everybody else.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Matt Jones, he's set up for success though. Bill Belichick and that defense.
It is wild though. Three dudes who are in the same quarterback room at Alabama are going to be starting quarterbacks week one of this NFL season. And it wasn't too long ago that quarterbacks in the SEC, and we talked about this not too long ago, quarterbacks in the SEC was kind of a real joke.
Yep.
It was they're really good at everything except quarterbacks. It's kind of like the Ravens and the Buccaneers winning Super Bowls in the early 2000s. It was like you just had amazing guys at the other 21 spots, and then the quarterback just don't mess it up. Because, I mean, you have Blake Sims took Alabama to
and Jake Coker.
college football playoff. Jake Coker won a national championship. Jake Coker beat Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. That's what I was going to say is like
Greg McElroy
10, 15 years ago, even just Alabama.
McElroy had an NFL career.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Back up. I mean, he's still playing the league.
Yeah,
but Jake Coker though,
doing that. No, but it's just I have one of my best friends is an Alabama fan. He sent me this morning. He was like, I would have never believed, back 10, 15 years ago, we'd have three starting quarterbacks in the NFL.
Well, no, it's not even that long ago. It was 2012. And I saw this morning. It popped back up on my feed. 2012, where Nick Saban was getting real upset about the up-tempo stuff, about the RPO game, about offensive linemen being downfield during passes. And Nick Saban was real upset about that. And he said, is this what we want football to be?
Right.
And we all thought he was complaining.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was just laying down the gauntlet because he just didn't finish that sentence. He was like, this is what we want football to be? This is what we want football to be?
This is what y'all want?
Okay, let's do it.
Fine, I'll do
it.
Y'all want?
Yeah,
I'm going to go hire Lane Kiffin.
Yep.
Right? I'm going to go hire Lane Kiffin, and this is what football is going to be.
And they've been probably the best offense every year since
and so
then.
all it took from there was they changed how they evaluated quarterbacks. Nick Saban changed that. He went from the pocket guy who can stand in there, go under center, command the offense, get in and out of plays. He went from that guy to where he went, give me the most athletic guy, give me the guy with the big arm, give me the quote unquote dual threat guy. And that's what they went out and got. I mean, it's been fascinating to watch. And now all three of those guys going to be starting quarterbacks come week one of the NFL. We went way over here. We got to take a break. We'll come back with more right here on Second Down. How aware are y'all about the full scope of this Bishop Sycamore storyline?
Kind of aware. I seen a 36-year-old man tear his ACL on the field.
Listen,
That's a problem. Yeah.
this is borderline like unbelievable stuff coming out of Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah.
I
think that's my thing. I've read a ton about it. There's a lot floating around on social media that you're like, is that even true? But it seems like
and
more
I'm not
than
gonna,
not, like
I'm not going to talk about that, but yeah,
there's a lot of truth.
I'm just going to talk about the stuff that's been verified through like reputable news sources.
Yeah.
Okay, for those of you who aren't following along, and a lot of this has come out since we were on the air yesterday. We knew that like basically where we were yesterday at this time, 24 hours ago, was ESPN had gotten duped into doing IMG Academy game against just a really bad school, like a really bad football team, right? Just not talented whatsoever, got beat 58-0. So the running joke was, wow, ESPN got duped. These people lied about having all these recruits, and funny story. Well, you brought down the investigative journalism weight of sports media, which there's a lot of really good reporters in the world, but when it comes to like latching onto something and just like following it, you invited this upon yourself. Sports media, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of, again, follow around 15-year-olds to figure out what college you're going to go to in 3 years.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of crazy. So when you throw something like this out there and you say, yeah, we're just going to create a fraudulent high school that doesn't have an actual address. Like the two addresses for it, one of them like a duplex, and the other one was another college, like a college's library.
I heard it's an online school.
But that's what they're trying to make it seem like is like, but like there's some stories that are coming out from like players who actually played there that said like basically they bought 3 apartments and had like players like sleeping on the floor inside the apartments, and so like weird. They like had to provide their own food. There's a lot of, again, unbelievable stuff. Online only school, used fake addresses, played postgraduate players.
Yeah.
So in that game against IMG Academy, they were playing players that had already graduated high school or were past the age of high school, including some that played at the JUCO level. That's per awful announcing. So again, for those of you following along, that means this quote unquote high school, which it sounds like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie I'm referring to here, but the South Harmon Institute of Technology.
Yeah.
Right. Where they create a fake school because none of them got accepted into the colleges they wanted to get to. Yeah.
Right.
Again, in a high school game against IMG Academy, they played players that had already played college football. You had dudes out there that were 20, 21, 22 years old playing against 16, 17-year-olds.
Yeah. That's one of the parts that really just like took me back.
And got hammered.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They went to
58-0.
JUCO, right? And they went to JUCO, and I've heard that a lot of them dropped out of JUCO. So like it's not like they were doing great things that said JUCO.
Though, dude, you're a grown man playing against 15-year-olds.
Give up that dream, man. That's what I would say. Just give up the dream.
That's just,
let it go.
That's just dirty to me, though, man. Like, you're 22 years old or 21 years old, and you want to go back and play against high school football players.
There's a 36-year-old out there.
Yeah,
I can't verify.
That's weird.
I've seen some people tweet about that. I don't know that that's been verified, but I do know.
I'm gonna run with it.
They have that is extremely reckless. But they have had players verified that had played in colleges before that were back out there playing for them.
Yeah.
Also played, even if you want to say like maybe none of that's true, maybe all this will come out and be false, which it's not going to be because it literally has all been verified. But say they were actually just a team full of high schoolers. Okay. They played on Friday and then they played IMG Academy on Sunday.
Yeah.
You played 2 games within 48 hours.
Of all these things, that's probably like the most egregious and embarrassing.
It's egregious if it's actual high schoolers.
Yeah.
If it's a bunch of 21-year-old former JUCO players, is it?
But I don't. At any rate, well, I mean, it's embarrassing and egregious by them.
But I mean, how cool is that story if you're IMG, like a player at IMG Academy?
Right.
I mean, it's
You're
it's
like, bro,
a cool
I trucked a grown man. I trucked a dude with a job.
We'd be the grown man 58-0.
I trucked a dude that pays rent.
That's
And
embarrassing.
I'm in high school. Again, these aren't college players. It's a high schooler getting to say that.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. Nah, that's embarrassing, man.
Again, I think it'd be a whole other story if the game was like 38-37 or something like that, but
Yeah.
58-0.
And you're on TV.
Yeah, I mean, that's there forever.
Yeah.
Well, I
that's
didn't
there
realize this. You
forever.
remember the video that came out last year of like the defensive lineman looking dude who wore number 3 and was playing quarterback and
Mhm.
trucking people and then going and playing linebacker and massacring people too?
Mhm.
Apparently, same situation.
Yeah.
Dude in his 20s playing. I mean, it's the same school. It was Bishop Sycamore.
Yeah.
Same school.
Right. Just
What
out
is
there.
And
wrong
like
with
and the
people?
and the
Doing ridiculous
outlets like
stuff.
Overtime and Max Preps and stuff like that all ran with it and we're like, oh, wow, look how amazing this is.
Yeah.
I mean,
think-
it kind of shows you how dangerous social media can be.
Absolutely. You just
Mm.
start sharing stuff that you have no idea like what it's
Yep.
about or what the backstory is or whatever. But I think that's the most ridiculous part about me is I don't know how if you're one of those players and you're 20 something whatever, how do you step on the field in the first play? Like of course you should be thinking about this before you get out on the field. But the first play you go up and get trucked or whatever, even if you have like make a tackle, how do you not just sit here and be like, nah, I need to get off the field. Like this is ridiculous. What am I doing?
What's
Like,
what's the end game? Like for multiple points. Like so for the coaches, what's the end game there?
Oh,
Like you had to know when you called ESPN, like this was like a lot of this was going to get exposed.
absolutely. Well, I think that is the end game, right?
But like I don't mean
I don't
expose
know why
like
it's a good thing,
exposure. I
but-
mean expose like all the dirty. The coach has like felony arrest warrants out.
yeah, I don't
I'm
get it. It's a whole lot of people not
bro.
thinking straight, and it's like the most ridiculous part. Of course, they're all adults, right? They're all men that are going out and being like, "Yeah, I'll play for this team," even though how ridiculous
Right.
it is, whatever. But then you also have the coaches that's just like, "What are you doing? Like what?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, I'm not saying anyone's not at fault here. Like ESPN is clearly at fault in this. You have to research what you're doing a lot better. And ESPN is trying to pass the buck to Paragon, who is this marketing company that is in charge of scheduling these games for them. But man, you
Come on,
gotta
ESPN.
double verify.
Yeah. Come on,
You
ESPN.
I mean, you have the ESPN 300. You can't just like you can't call Tom Van Haren and be like,
Right.
Tom, does this school have anybody in our top 300?
Or
Just
you
one,
could
just one guy.
You
Yeah.
know, you go research it on the internet. You know, you just do your research.
Well, again,
for
I understand
yourself.
Disney is a multi-billion-dollar, like probably controlling the world organization,
Mhm.
but I think maybe bring in some of your recruiting staff that you have, some people who are really smart, and let
Exactly.
them maybe handle that because they can get
That's-
you some damn good matchups.
Yeah, that's my argument to that. Is like, yeah, Disney has some other things to do, but then again, that means they have enough employees and can pay someone to make sure that they're doing the right things. So yeah, I guess like you said, a little bit of fault for that, but I think like most of my fault and blame and whatever, and just ridiculousness of this whole
Oh,
situation.
it goes to
is,
the
of course,
adults
right
at,
back on
at Bishop Sycamore.
which is basically the whole team.
Yeah.
is what we're talking about.
I
Like,
just don't know how you
so
wake
we're
up.
not just
What's
talking about the
What's the
coaches,
end
right?
game for the players?
Yeah.
Is it just to play football?
just trying to
You'll
get one
be-
more game.
I
in.
know some people that's like that though.
But is
that
it
would
just to
do
play
that.
football? Because the players who have already played college football, you got 5 to play 4. I mean, that might be out the door now with all the extra years of eligibility that are being handed out. But the way it was taught to me was you have 5 years to play 4. Like once you get to college and you enroll, that clock starts ticking. You got 5 years to play 4. You get that one redshirt year that you can apply for a medical redshirt or something like COVID happens, and they give you that call that year a wash and give you another year. But for the most part, so some of these guys who had played JUCO ball, I mean, maybe they were still within that window where they were like a year or so removed and could like get that
Maybe.
one more offer. But who's the college coach thinking? So all right, so run this down with me one more time. You played high school ball, you went to Southwest East JUCO, and then you played high school football.
Yeah.
And now we're recruiting you.
And then you had a good play against IMG Academy, which is a high school, and now we should bring you on our team. Wait, tell me why again, and tell me how. The only thing I can think of is, like you said, you just have these guys that are desperate to go out there and just all they want to do is play football, right? And that's all they can do. And
Dude,
they
I'm
have,
looking for some men's league stuff, but I'm not.
right, but they
I'm
have
not going to
that,
go out
they
there
have
and
that
tackle
coach.
a 15-year-old.
They have that coach in their ear
'Cause
that
there's a
you
lot
don't know what that coach is spewing them. That's my thing.
I want to say this really quietly. There's a lot of 15-year-olds out there playing football that would mess me up.
Yeah,
That would
absolutely.
wreck my world.
No.
That would end me.
Have
I
you
would
seen
be
me?
dust.
Have you seen me? Probably all of them would. Like,
So
they're all looking down at me.
things start to hurt
I
when you
know
get
what
older.
you mean. I'm just
Cam,
saying.
there are multiple 14-year-olds out there right now that would eat your lunch.
I wouldn't be out there.
But I'm just saying,
I
Like,
know.
like all of
I
us in
wouldn't be
here,
out
well, I
there.
don't know that we'd be able to walk off the field. So like,
How do you wake up and just be like, well,
I
time to
graduated.
go play
I
some high
graduated high
schoolers
school
today.
4 years ago. Let's get back after it.
Let's get
Right.
back after it, man. We're on ESPN today too.
All right,
All
bet.
right, bet. Say no
Yeah.
more.
And apparently they were lying to these players when they were recruiting them, saying they were going to be on Netflix and all kinds of stuff. Like it's just.
But that's what it's the
It's
power.
rough.
Like
yeah,
that's my
you might
thing.
be on Netflix
It's-
one
it's
day
like-
as a
Yeah,
documentary.
But it's
Yeah,
gonna be like Fire Fest.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
a problem. It's like the power of the adult and the sway they have when you have now I'm not saying for if there was like a 25, 26, you should know better, you should be able to do
Mhm.
your research, whatever. But if there's like a 20, 21-year-old, like you said, who just lost their JUCO job or whatever, and you have a coach in your ear telling you, hey, we're gonna go out, we're gonna play this team, whatever. And you're like, okay, what team are we playing? Oh no, don't worry about it. We're just gonna go out and we're gonna play these few games and it's gonna be fine.
But
know
it
what I
wasn't just IMG Academy. They were playing like other actual high schools.
Right.
Yeah, that's weird, man.
And they're not affiliated with I think it's the OHSAA, like the Official Athletic Association of Ohio. Like they're not affiliated with that whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're like a non-existent online school. So that it's just a wild story. It's going to play out some more. Quickly here though, and I called some high school coaches about both of these just to get their opinions on it. Mostly the opinion on the Bishop Sycamore is kind of what we talked about, but also I did talk to one coach and he was like, everybody's worried about like the health of the players when they were playing against IMG Academy. Is anybody ever worried about the health of the players when Alabama plays Mercer? So I was like, all right, that's fair. It's like we have no problem airing those games. Citadel, Clemson.
At least they're all around the same age.
Well,
Let's
no,
put it
I
like
think
that.
this was prior to the knowledge that like they had former JUCO players coming out. This was when it was just people thought that they had just lied about how good their players
Yeah.
were and had put them out there against IMG Academy and gotten shellacked 58-0. They're like, listen, these major networks have no problem airing a top 5 team against an FCS team.
Yeah.
And
Seen it
we're
plenty
never
of
we're
times
never
before,
yeah, we're never worried about the health in those games. So like what's the concern there? So I did think that was an interesting point. But I spoke to them as well. Have all of y'all seen the Trent Dilfer video? Have you PJ seen it? Where and Cam, you can probably pull it up. I'll just search Trent Dilfer on Twitter. But Trent Dilfer is coaching an academy that he basically helped start in Tennessee and I think in Nashville. And it's turned into a really successful program over these past few years. But he got videoed in an incident this past Friday night where he was screaming, and I don't think there's any other way to put it, screaming at one of his players, took him to the end of basically where the team stands on the field, took him past that to a bench, screaming at him, was telling him to sit down on a bench, kind of grabbed his shoulder pads and sit down on a bench. But again, he was screaming at him. And so I called some coaches, and for the most part, they were all saying, you have to be in control.
Mhm.
Like, it's okay to be passionate, and in some situations, you have to put your hands on a kid. And I'm not saying like hit the kid. I'm saying it's an extremely emotional sport. I've seen it happen plenty of times. It's an extremely emotional sport, right? And if you're coming off and the kid's being a danger to himself or to someone else, where you think he's about to go hit somebody, you think he's about to get in somebody's face, something like that, I think at that point it's okay
It's about
to break it up and to
Right.
physically like move them away from the situation.
It's about getting
I think
their
that's fine.
attention. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think where you have to really tread that line, it can get dangerous, is where you start seeing the coaches grab I'm not saying Trent Dilfer did this, but you see the coaches like grabbing the face mask to scream
Yeah.
at the players, or like, again, if you at any point strike a player, I think that's probably it.
Yep.
For your football coaching career.
Right.
But like putting the hands on it, but it's like, man, like if I come off the field, or my brother just got done playing high school football,
Mhm.
and I love I love my siblings, but there's a soft spot. He's my little brother. Like I love him in such a unique and profound way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dive in front of a train for him.
Right.
But if he missed a block, or he was soft on a pull, like he played offensive line, if he was soft pulling around and he had to get a defensive lineman and he missed that block and he comes to the sideline and his offensive line coach grabs the shoulder pads that come down by the ribs and kind of just like shows him like, you gotta get in, you got get up in them.
Yeah.
Zero problem with that.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I think we think in black and white, where there's a real gray area, right? Like, it's football. It's a physical sport. It's a hands-on sport,
Mhm.
right? These dudes are massacring each other every play. Like, comes off the sideline, he's like, come on, man. It's like, it's the helmets, Pat. Like, come on, get your hand in the game. I think that's all fine. It's just, you have to be in control.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Trent Dilfer got in trouble.
Right.
I see it. I see the video. Yeah, you're right. You got to handle certain situations like that. Because he's still a kid.
If you don't change any part of that video cam, but Trent Dilfer's face seems like he's in control. If he's still pointing at the bench, telling the kid to sit down, sit down, sit down.
Yeah.
And he's in control. I just think it's the fact that you could tell Trent Dilfer was kind of losing it.
Yeah. He's passionate, but I'm sure Trent Dilfer being a NFL player, former NFL player, he's passionate, but yeah, he has to control that. He's still a high school kid.
The kid apparently had gotten a couple personal foul calls in a row. And again, if he had done something where it was dangerous and he was hitting another kid or he was cheap shotting someone late, like and you're furious at him and you're lighting him up, light him up.
Yeah. Full well deserved.
Zero problem.
You never know the full story. So
like you said, got to be able to keep your composure and control yourself a little bit. Yeah, sure. Let him have it. Get his attention and make sure he understands. I think that's the other part of it with me too. Is like make sure he understands what's going on, what you expect of him.
But you do, man. But you do. Like when you're on that sideline, you do understand because that's not the first communication that Trent Dilfer's ever had with that player. Right. That's not the first time Trent Dilfer and that kid have ever had conversations like that. Right. Trent Dilfer has been, I guarantee you've been riding that team like no one's business. And it's not out of hatred.
No,
I mean, it's clearly out of love. Trent Dilfer can be making so much more money working for ESPN doing that stuff, but he loves coaching football. He wants to do something cool in Nashville, started this program, and he's coaching those kids, and he's out there every day busting his butt coaching that. I think that's huge. I don't think we have enough of that, right? And so that's not the first conversation. And I will say this to the parents listening. I think this is a fascinating point. I've heard this from multiple coaches. Again, like I said, that's not the first time Trent Dilfer and that kid have had a conversation. And Phil Dawson actually used to be a kicker in the NFL, and that's Phil Dawson's kid, right? But if that was your kid and his head coach was lighting him up like that, and the first time you have a conversation with the coach is after that, and that's the first time you've communicated with the coach, that's a problem.
True.
It's all about knowing your coach and knowing
that's a problem.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love my coach to do that to my son. Well, whenever I have one.
My dad would have encouraged it.
I would love it.
Yeah,
I had my high school coach do that.
Yeah, I think we all been there, and same thing with my dad and the coach. Now my dad coached me a lot, but when he wasn't coaching me, no, absolutely. If it do something wrong, get after it. Make sure you correct it. I think what I was saying with like, it's kind of like the unhinged thing, right? Where a lot of times when you see someone kind of step over that line of passionate and become unhinged a little bit, you hear that they repeat things a lot and they kind of go back to the same thing a lot. And it seemed like that was happening a little bit. I think that was part of it. Like, I want to see a little bit more, I don't know, explanation, I guess, or a little bit, or just like you said, you see him start to get like that and just walk away, man. But it just kind of like kept going.
Yeah. I think you can be extremely vocal and you can be mad and you can be as strict as you want to be with that player. But like you said, it's as soon as you start losing control.
Yeah,
I think that's where you start to draw that line there, and I think Trent Dilfer did. He issued an apology, but again, not even close to the worst thing I've seen on a sideline. I'm not condoning it,
right?
Like not even close. I've seen incidences where coaches have been dismissed because of stuff like that.
Yeah,
but again, to me that's love, because from a football coach, and maybe again this might just be Trent Dilfer being a young coach. He hasn't been doing this for a long time.
Sure.
But to me, as soon as your coach stops doing that, so say I had just gotten back-to-back personal foul penalties in a game and I came to the sideline and they don't put me back in and my coach isn't lighting me up, or my coach isn't writing me, or my coach isn't talking to me, that means he's done with me.
Right.
Yep.
Right. That means he's over it and he has to move on and he has to be with that team and he has to move on with the team without me.
Mm-hmm. So
if you see a coach lighting your son up, you call it lighting it up. I call it coaching up.
Yeah.
It's because he loves them. I'm just going to put that out there. We got more to come, though. We'll be right back with more Second Down right after this. Big show coming up today on 3 and Out. The guys will be joined by Georgia State head coach Sean Elliott. They have a really good team coming back, competing with a really good Sun Belt conference. So we'll catch up with Sean Elliott talking about that. Also, of course, Rich Stiles, even though he's a little bit salty with me right now, he'll be joining us coming up in the 4 o'clock hour as well. And then Gaurav Vidak from Talking Chop, talk about the Braves. They lose last night in a home run fest to the Los Angeles Dodgers, but still first place in the NL East right now, with about a month left to go in the season. So we'll catch up with all those guys on 3 and Out. We went way long on the first 2 segments. So we're going to take a break here, come back, final segment of 3 and Out, or of Second Down.
Wait
next.
a minute.
It takes. Oh man, working with Kevin Thomas is a unique experience.
You guys should try it sometime.
Please do. I could use some help.
Oh man, you think like
there's no words?
We were talking about the time. Do you think he comes in and he does the crab thing? He tries to get the. Now he's just gonna come in and just go like this. Just look at his watch. Like, we've
got 8 minutes until his show starts, and Kevin just like comes in, and our music starts playing. He's like, "Oh, I thought it was the start of the show." It's such a unique experience, man. Like, I don't know how to mentally recover from a lot of things he said. He like basically was like questioning someone's eligibility if they did something earlier when it had just like no impact on collegiate eligibility whatsoever, and it took my brain a minute to catch up. I love him so much, though. I think we should replay his dubstep song at some point on the show today, just to show how much we love him.
That does sound really good. I wasn't here yesterday.
The video from yesterday.
Yeah, Cam got to experience it yesterday for the first time.
For sure.
It
was fire though, right? Unique. Like you would listen to that, right?
Yeah, it was cool. It was funny though.
Honestly, you should intro the show with that. Probably.
He might leave.
Yeah, he'd probably.
Which if he does, then I'm hosting 3 and Out, and I don't want to do that.
I'm not
going
to have him mad at me. So
all right, so
I'll
we're
let
gonna
y'all
Cam.
We're gonna need to not do
Cam,
that.
you
actually.
do the show with us every day, but you're gonna kowtow to Kevin.
I mean.
Has anyone ever been afraid of someone named Kevin before in their life?
Not really.
Well, I mean, Kevin
Durant.
Yeah, I'd be scared of that.
I wouldn't be scared of that. Are you kidding me?
Of guarding him? Oh my god.
Oh, guarding him.
All right, we got 5 seconds here. 3 and Out with the aforementioned Kevin Thomas coming up next, as well as BJ Bennett.